And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Morning Coffee. I feel like I call it Shaping Success Morning Coffee, but, here's the deal. I have this network. What is up, Nikki? That I've been building, Shaping Success Network, and I've been thinking about it a while because my friend Chuck was talking to me the other day about it. He's like, if podcasting is the thing you want to do, you got to just go all in. So how can I do that? How can I make that work? How can I get that blasting away? And I just got to do more work. That's all there is to it. And I think I'm going to have to work on getting some sponsors is the big thing. But I have essentially decided that there are 3 shows under the umbrella of the Shaping Success Network right now. And the first one is the mainstay, which is Shaping Success. And it's funny how that started because last night I was talking to my friend Vinnie and got to point the right direction. That right there is his barber sign. And it's kind of blurred out a little bit right now. But I met Vinnie on social media when I first started doing this podcast over 5 years ago. Vinnie had moved from Texas to Idaho and opened up a barbershop here in Idaho. Been to Idaho before, loved Idaho. Great story. I haven't had this in a couple days. This is that Magic Mind. This is some good stuff. It's got a lot of cool stuff in it. My favorite is the lion's mane, though, because I think that's what gives me the energy. The nice thing about it is it doesn't crash. I don't crash. I drink this stuff, and then at the end of the day, I don't need a Red Bull because I had this, and it just lasts. It's green. You'd think it wouldn't taste very good, but it's pretty tasty. And they also gave me a discount code to get an extra 20% off, which gets you 75% only last end of January. So hurry up, use code Shaping Success, Shaping SHAPING Success SUCCESS 20, and get 1 month for free at Magic Mind. Good stuff. Check it out. We're working on getting some more of those from them. It's great stuff. Anyway, there you go. You'll have to try it. I mean, it's really good. The thing is with it is you can drink it with your coffee because I have it with my coffee. And it's good stuff. Plumber wife, what is happening? Wug Nation in the house. So anyway, back to the story. Vinnie, let's see if I can do this right. It's got to be over there. There we go. Perfect. The camera's backwards, so I have to figure out how to point at things. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you see me being, or if you're listening to it, then you don't know that it's tough to remember what direction to point. You have to think about it, which is annoying. But anyway, I had a friend, and if you listen to the very first podcast, if you go back to the very, very beginning and you listen to it, you'll understand that I was in a place where I didn't know what the hell to do. I'd started this job that I'm currently in, and I'm at a crossroads right now. I've been in these crossroads before, but I started this job that I didn't know what to do. It's 100% commission, trying to figure out how to survive. And the money is good, right? It's better than what it was when I was teaching because I quit my job as an educator. I went to work for this guy, started selling window covers, 100% commission, trying to figure out how I'm going to make this work. And I was doing really well. Instantly, within the first week, I made my paycheck from teaching because, it just was that good. It's so lucrative. The thing is, though, is that it's here and there, right? So it's today I can make $500. Tomorrow I can make $0. And that's how you have to look at it. So you have to be willing to keep doing the things that you're doing. You have to create these relationships. You have to build these things. So my thought was this, all right, I'm going to build this podcast. But what I'm going to do, and at first it was I'm just going to walk into places with my phone. Anyone can do it. Gary Vee says create content. Just do it. Just keep creating. And do it. And then someday something will happen. Well, I kind of thought that I was I started to realize that I'm probably at the end of this deal, but I'm not. But I have to reevaluate and I have to think about the things that I'm doing and figure out how to make it work and make it happen. And so I'm like, he's like, there's all these different mediums that you can use. You can get on YouTube and just record and post a video, and you can get on Reels and post picture, or on Instagram. They didn't have Reels yet, and post that. And then TikTok was the big thing. It just had switched from Musical.ly to TikTok. It became a huge thing. Get on TikTok, post videos, talk about yourself, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter what it is. As long as people see you, they see you, you're creating a brand, right? So I started doing that. And I decided, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I think the key to getting business in the rest of the Treasure Valley is to talk to people who have businesses and get to know them, get myself out there, help them get to know me, and then get them to refer me for what they need, for their window covering needs, right? So I went in and I sat down, I got on Instagram, and I didn't have an Instagram account. So I'm late to the game on Instagram because this was, 5 years ago, and Instagram had been around for a while. And I created that account, and I grew it pretty quick. I grew it to, like, what I did was I got on there and I followed every realtor and every builder and every single business that was in the area where I was at, and started interacting with their pages, trying to get them going. And I interacted with Vince. See if I can do this again. I know it's over there, so I can do it. It's easier when I start to think about it. So Vince is like, hey, bro, what's going on? Just started talking to me a little bit, and I got a barbershop. Come on down, come get a haircut. So he was doing the same thing. He was trying to network because he's building a new business as well, just like me. Go down there, get my haircut, find out this guy is a really cool dude. And the reason I'm talking about him is because last night we had a conversation, and it's been a while since I talked to him. And I started to realize that the first episode wasn't the one that I thought it was. It's this one. This was like the beginning of Shaping Success. So I started talking to him, and then I had met a friend, Kyle, through networking as well, which when we first started, Kyle and I were going to do the podcast together. It was going to be something that we did together and create together and, kind of co-host. Things kind of got a little, it just didn't work out because we were on different, what is up, Hal? Thank you very much. We're on different levels of like time and things like that because my schedule is like very crazy. I got a lot of stuff going on, very sporadic, and we just couldn't get on the same schedule wavelength to get things going, but we were both trying to have the same thing. And so Vinnie and Kyle and I sat down. We're like, what can we do together? We're all trying to do the same thing. And we're like, let's create some content. Let's post some clips. Let's figure this out. And this was like, there's this block. I'm going to make a podcast. I'm going to do the videos. I can add the videos to audio. Blah, 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 blah. We started talking about it. Vinny was the technical guy. Like, he knew a lot more about technical stuff than I did. And it was crazy. So, like, that's where it started. So Kyle and I had this great idea. And if you go to YouTube and you go to the YouTube page and you just scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's some stuff. There's some clips of me trying to figure it out. Like, you will see the evolution of where I came to where I am now. The trajectory, as Hal says. But you will see where that went. You'll see the evolution of Shaping Success. Started out with me posting clips of myself. My friend Christian was like, hey, let's do this, let's do that. Doing all this stuff. And like the very bottom is like a bunch of clips. And it's all Blind Appeal where I worked. And then the shift to, well, let's not Blind Appeal. It's Wes. It's Wes at Blind Appeal. It's Wes who sells for Blind Appeal, but you're buying from Wes. You're not buying from Blind Appeal, although you're getting stuff from Blind Appeal. And so I started to find out who I was, and I started to figure that out, and I started to realize that it wasn't just about me, it was about helping other people. So I sat down with Vinny. He cut my hair, and as he was cutting my hair, I talked to him about his business and how he was doing what he was doing and where he came from and all that stuff, just to kind of help him to show people who he was and to get them into his barbershop because, it's a brand new business and he needs some help. He needs people in there because you're not making any money if you're not cutting any hair. He does a really good haircut too, but he doesn't live around here anymore. So I was just thinking about that. I was thinking about how that was the very first interview and where it started and where it's come. Thanks for hanging, AJ. Appreciate you. So I started thinking about where it came from, and like it all started with networking. It all started with people that I knew. And maybe I need to get back to that. Maybe I need to get back to the basics, because that's one of the things that, at work is a struggle right now, because we've tried to expand so fast. And did we forget about the basic things that we're good at? What are we good at? And I think that a lot of times that's where it is. Like, the answer is right in front of you, but maybe we need to revisit that and think about how that's going to go. And these conversations that you have with people just turn into thoughts and processes and building. And networking is a huge thing. And I think that we've lost how that works. We don't know how to network anymore because we don't know how to have a conversation with someone or interact with someone like we're. How many of you, the first thing you do when someone calls you is text them back? Like, I'm not going to answer the phone because I don't want to talk to them, because that's too much work. To have a conversation on the phone, we're not going to talk. That's too much. So we text, right? Then you lose the reality of the situation. You lose the interaction with someone. And so it's tough, though, because you've got to evolve. Which, great song. I have to tell you, listening to The Circle View, because I interviewed him the other day, and then I've listened to his music before, but when I listen to music, I usually get the album and I listen to the whole thing, and a lot of people don't do that. And so when someone has a library that is so big and I'm like, download, I should have just went to the first one and went through and listened to it over and over again, and then to the next one over and over again. But I was just like, no, I got to listen to everything. And so I've been hearing his songs little by little, and then going back and going, I really like that one. Go back, figure out the name. And one of the songs that blew me away yesterday was a song Evolve. You got to go check it out by The Circle View. Anyway, that's my squirrel moment where I went off the side. But evolve, but it kind of ties into everything. It's like we have to evolve. We have to change with the times. We have to decide what it's going to take. And we have to realize that if it's not working, if what we're doing is not working, we have to make a shift. We have to decide that we're doing something wrong, and we either need to change it if it's not getting the results that we want, or we have to stick. If we stick with it, we may not ever get the results we want. And that's kind of what this topic is about today, because if you look at where it started, and if you see where it is, like I'm using my podcast as an example, if you look where it started and you see where it has created so many different things for me. Bev, my friend Bev, over on Facebook. It's called Surviving to Survive. You have to change. You are totally correct. I appreciate that, Bev. And it is good to see you. That is it. You have to change. You have to be willing to do that. And if you don't, you're going to get stuck. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do to change it? And so my thought process was that. I've done this for 5 years. Okay. At first it was selfish, kind of, sort of, because I was thinking, if I work with them, they'll work with me, and I'll do what I can to get that. And then I started to realize that I was building these relationships with people. And I built this relationship with Vin, which was crazy. It's one of those things. I still talk to him, he's in Coeur d'Alene right now. He's getting ready to start working at a different barbershop. He's kind of been through it. His barbershop went under here in Boise. Then he moved back to Texas, and then he got to Texas and he decided that he was going to he didn't want to go back to where he was. And he ended up going back there and using, and because he had to survive. He had to figure out what to do. And that's where he could go. Even though he didn't want to go back to Texas, he did, got the barbershop going. He's always talked about him. One of the cool things that's about him is he's kind of a nomad. He is a lead singer. He was a lead singer for a Christian rock band a while back called Barren Cross. He was the first original singer left, and then Vin came in and was the singer for Barren Cross. Born in the same freaking city, which was crazy. So him and I were born in the same city, and actually in the same hospital. And he's a little bit older than me. But this conversation, we ran into each other. He knew my cousins. He hung out with people that I know. And it just was crazy, that connection that happened. But I would have never had that had I not put myself out there. And watching him do what he's doing, now he's got a YouTube channel called Vinnie Van, but he decided that he was going to he was talking about doing it. Like he had a truck and he was getting ready to do it, but he became a van lifer, which if you don't know what that is, you know, he actually lives inside a Toyota Sienna van, which is pretty cool because he's got it all decked out. Like you think, oh man, this guy lives in a van. It's not like he lives in a van because he has to. He lives in a van because he wants to. So he lives in there. He's got a bed in there. He's got a heater in there. He's got his TV in there. He's got all that stuff, everything that he needs. But you think about it, he's got that little spot to stay in, and then everything else, he's out. He's out and about. He's doing that thing. And so he just got on YouTube his over 1,000 subscribers because he did an interview with another guy, collaborated with another guy, and got so many views from it, and then he got a bunch of subscribers. Now he's 700 watch hours away from being monetized, which he's been talking about doing this for the same amount of time that I have. And it's finally moving forward for him, and he just looks great. There's a lot of things going. Thank you, Gracie. I appreciate that. Thank you for likes over on TikTok. But the thing is that he never stopped. He may have taken some shifts and moved around and changed the way that he was doing things, but now it's finally going. And it may stall. You know, you look at me, like I've stalled out before. And it's happened. Like there are stalls. There are shifts that you have to make. And so like the evolve for me has become, I was doing that, you know, we were calling it Treasure Valley Max Media. Like it was just going to be this Treasure Valley business thing. And then I realized that I enjoyed helping other people and sharing their story. So I started interviewing people that, you know, made me want to see what they did and move forward and use kind of what they are, glean their information. I was gleaning their information and I was handing their information to other people because I feel like if I put it here on a platform, like right now, I'm reaching a bunch of people on TikTok. I'm reaching a bunch of people. Well, I mean, you look at, there's 2 people watching on TikTok. There's 3 people watching on YouTube, Facebook, and all that stuff. I've reached 5 people where if I'm just talking to one person, I've reached one person, right? So I've got more people in my audience, more people viewing. And, you know, the podcast itself has like 45,000 downloads. That's 45,000 people that I've reached that I couldn't have reached just by walking in somewhere. So it was really cool to share that information. Well, I started to get to the point where I thought interviews would, you know, be the way to do it, but then people don't get to know who I am. And a lot of times I've found that a lot of people like to hear that story. They like to know who you are. They like to know that you're going through stuff. What's up, Lynette? Because they're going through it and how you're dealing with it. And that's where it kind of went. And so last year I switched over to doing solo shows because I felt like my voice wasn't being heard as much as it needed to be. And I still do the interviews, but when I got the studio set up, I started thinking about it. It's like, you know, I can do more. And what would that be? Thank you very much, Lynette. I could do more. And what could that be? What could more be? Right? And so I started thinking, you know, I've always wanted to do this, so I'm doing this show in the morning. And I'm like, I'm going to do this 5 days a week. And I'm uploading it there. It's mostly live on YouTube, and I need to do more with it, but I don't have the time to go through and do it all. But I can do this. I can talk. I can be this. I can be someone who is here every morning drinking my cup of coffee with you. I get up at 4:15 and I come in here at 5 o'clock and I just kind of talk to you guys about what's going on. So that's what I like about it. I mean, it's awesome. So then Robert Watson reaches out to me. He's like, hey, you know, my book's almost out. Let's do this. So now we got Shaping Success, which is going to be the interviews like I talked about. And I'm working on some other stuff because Shaping Success is, the interviews are, you know, usually sporadic. When they show up, I do them. When I've got people to interview, I interview them. And then this morning coffee, which is kind of a daily walk and talk about, coffee talk with a friend. It's just a talk. You know, we're talking about what I'm thinking about that day, how I'm dealing with it, how I'm moving forward, how I'm going through the things that I'm going through. And then the Robert Watson, we're talking about his book, which his book has so much to do with shaping success, like with moving forward, with the whole theme of the whole thing, right? So it's cool. It's like this, the evolving of what is going on. And I need sponsors, like I've got to figure out how to get those people to sponsor me. We've got subscribers on TikTok. We've got Patreons. We've got these people who are helping, a little bit, which is great. But we got to get some sponsors. And then I want to add some more shows. I want to be like, not just me. Like I can have other people on the show, and get them in here. And, the point with Robert is to go through his book, but we need to get him to a point where he can do his own. And he's got an idea for another one. And so building this network and getting sponsors put out for every single show will make it bigger. How am I going to do that? What am I going to do? And so that's what's going on in my mind right now. And we've got a couple people reaching out here and there. But to take it to the next level, that's what it's going to be. What are we going to do? And I've got to figure out how to reach that audience, a larger audience. So I appreciate you guys all hanging out with me and listening to me talk about this, but this is how you grow something. This is what you have to do. And that's where it's at. The growth is coming, but it's going to take work. So with that, the sponsors that I have are more about kind of like ad reads and things like that, where I make a little bit of money if I can help them, if you go and do things that they do. So, Magic Mind's a great one. You buy something, I make a little bit of money. That's the way that those sponsorships work. You use that code, then they see, hey, we'll do this, and then maybe they'll pay me a little bit more to do it later. Because they show that has a benefit, that they're using that code. You're showing them, hey, I bought that. So another sponsor right here, Castle & Cook Mortgage. We have Castle & Cook Mortgage. My friend Sean Loveland works at Castle & Cook Mortgage. Interest rates are going down. I was looking at mine right now. We need it to go down just a little bit more for me to make a difference in my mortgage payment. But they've gone down. They were up to like 7-8% at one point. They're now down to like 6.5%. So if you need to refinance so that you can have a lower payment, and if you're at that 8.5%, you're going down to 6.5%, it'll make a significant difference. So give Sean a call at 208-447-7205. He's licensed in Oregon and Idaho, and he can help you in California as well, I believe. I'll have to talk to him about that. But he can help you get a mortgage refinance and save some money. And he also has a $250 off the closing fee. So go check it out. 208-447-7205. That's here in Boise. And anyway, that is what it is. That is what I've got. Thank you to Nikki, Patreon, Anna, Patreon, our subbers. We've got Twisted D, Nikki, and Michelle. We appreciate you all. I need to get off my butt and send out the things that I said that I was going to send out. I got some coasters and stickers and stuff like that. Lynette, thank you for the gifts over on TikTok. And it's Friday, guys. I am not going to have a show on Monday or Tuesday next week. I apologize. It just isn't going to work out. I'm not going to be in town. So I may jump on tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But I've got to go somewhere. I'm on a plane headed to Houston for a couple days. So it's like a fly-by-night trip, not even a couple days. It's going to be really quick in and out. But yeah, so Monday, Tuesday is not going to happen. Wednesday, I'll be back with Robert, and then we'll do Thursday, Friday, and here's what it is. Maybe I'll throw up a classic. Maybe I won't put anything up there, but go catch up. Go check out that YouTube video. I don't think it's on. I should take the audio off of those videos and stick them on YouTube so you can hear the original Vinnie van story. It'll be a good one. But until next time, I challenge you to find a shape of your success.